Well, as everyone knows, I do a lot of stories on Ballad and old Alan Levine, the bully himself. So this just came out last night, and most people already knew about this. So at a chamber event up in Kingsport, Mr. Levine and Representative David Hawk out of Greene County had a little, you would say, altercation. All reports, or at least most reports, say that Levine was the aggressor. And Hawk has nothing to gain by making up that Levine was the aggressor. Now, of course, there's a board member on there that from Ballad who claims that Hawk was the aggressor and was rude to Levine. Now, listen, Levine is not a king. I mean, we don't have to bow down to him and kiss his, we just don't have to do that. He thinks we do. I mean, he refers to us as poor Appalachian people. He thinks we're just a bunch of, peasants out here working on the Levine plantation or something. And that's the way he treats his employees. So this story came out. I'm surprised Channel 11 even covered it. I'm sure that's why they had the other board member on there to take up for Levine. But I don't understand why David Hawk didn't go directly to the police and file a report the night it happened. He probably should have done that. I don't know if anything will ever come of this because Hawk has written a letter to Mr. Bowtie himself, Nolan, over at the college there, because Brian Nolan is a board member on Ballad Health board. So let's see why Mr. Nolan may not even care. He's already not responded to Hawk, and Hawk's had to go through multiple steps to even have a conversation with him. But let's take a look here real quick. So let's see, we can put some light on the subject. So this is Schedule 2, Part 2. Schedule 1, Part 2, Grants and Assistance of Domestic Organizations and Domestic Governments. This is what Ballad Health gave to ETSU, and this is on a recent tax return. I've cut it off here, but it said ETSU State University Foundation and East Tennessee State University for Rural Health Research and Center of Nursing Excellence. This is what they gave them. This is what Ballad gave. Now, we know Ballad is financially struggling, according to Levine, but somehow they're able to squeak out $10.8 million to ETSU. Now, this is a recent tax return. It's not the most recent, but it's a recent tax return. Remember I talked about WJHL had 2 million reasons not to cover Ballad? ETSU has 10.8 million reasons. Let's look at something else, another reason that nothing may ever happen. This is Part 2-B of their 2021 tax return, and this says direct contact with legislatures, their staff, government officials, or legislative bodies. So how much did Ballad spend on that? Nearly $1 million. $985,000 to legislators, their staffs, government officials, or a legislative body. Seems whoever has the biggest bank account wins, right?
Brian Nolan in his national
so we will
office
see
to discuss
what happens.
Concerns.
Let's pause
Hawk
this.
writes about that conversation.
Let's see there. Let's pause that for a second. And just for a little more interesting tidbit, this has nothing to do with the alleged assault or the rudeness or the bullying, but this talks about travel, and I just had to throw this in because you just have to see how Levine is treated over there. I call him the Ballad King, you know that. Unless expressly approved by the Ballad Health Executive Chair President, first-class transportation is generally not permitted. But the Executive Chair President may utilize first-class travel. Now, that's Mr. Levine. may utilize first-class travel for flights of a long duration. I mean, we don't want Levine getting uncomfortable and getting cramped up, sitting up there with the rest of us trashy people, right? I mean, God forbid the guy's uncomfortable and has to sit back with somebody that actually might get their hands dirty. Anyway, we'll follow this. We'll see what happens. You got to give it to Hawk for stepping up, because I'm sure, the $4 million man over there, Mr. Ballad King Levine, he carries a lot of weight. That weight's mostly in $100 bills, but he carries it. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on this. Unfortunately, I think it'll just go away. He's probably over there. Levine's over there probably tying some of Nolan's, some of his little bow ties for him right now, and they're having a little drink together and discussing how to make this go away. Thanks for watching. We'll keep an eye on Ballad for you.